All right, folks, we're going to give it just a minute here, make sure that it's working. Make sure everything is good with my broadcast. I don't want reverb, and make sure my sound is right. I haven't done a live video in a long time. And quite honestly, I don't know if any of the sound is coming back through the computer to my, it shouldn't be. Let's see what's going on here, make sure. Yeah, that should just be. All right. So I think everything is good. I've got a box. I've got several of these boxes actually. But I've got a box of 93 Flair that I intend to open today in today's live stream. I haven't done a live stream in a long time. I've never done one on the TeeBeeCards channel. But we're going to rip into this. So Flair is one of my favorite products from the 90s. Absolutely love Flair. And 93 was the first time that Flair put out Flair. It was a premium product. And I think it's 200 cards, maybe it's 300 cards. And this particular 1993 only had one series. It's an ultra premium product. And they were pricey back in the day. Like, I couldn't afford them. I don't know that I was collecting cards in 93 though, but I don't remember this being, I mean, I think I went off and on in my collecting in my younger years, and I missed a few years, but I started collecting again in 96, and I remember Flair being out and it being expensive for me in 96. So I'm sure in 93 it would have been expensive for me as well. It's just a beautiful set, and there's some great cards in this. And you can get these wax boxes on eBay for between $50 and $70 delivered. They're not a terribly expensive set. I need a razor because I forget that this particular wax box, the packs in Flair are they're like Fort Knox. I mean, they're just locked down. So anyway, what are the cards in this set that we would be looking for? What are the chase cards? There's a lot of chase cards in this set because, I mean, it's a 30-year-old set, and there's just a lot of good players. A lot of them are Hall of Famers now. And actually, some of them are rookies, like Mike Piazza is a rookie in this set, and he's a Hall of Famer now. So we've got that. But so I've jotted down some notes. You've got, Piazza has two cards in this set. He's got a standard issue card, like a base card, and then he's got the Wave of the Future card, which was a small subset for the rookies. His standard issue card's like $67. I think his Wave of the Future card is, I think that's a $200 card. If it gems up in a PSA 10, okay? Whenever I give you prices, it's PSA 10. Tony Gwynn is in this set. I've seen it sell for $128. And some of these numbers are actually dated. I haven't looked up prices on these cards in a while. Some of them may have gone up since then. Bo Jackson's a $125 card. George Brett's a $75 card. Rickey Henderson's an $80 card. Of course, Rickey Henderson's probably a higher priced card now that he has passed away, sadly. Ken Griffey Jr. is a $100 card. Nolan Ryan, $125. Trevor Hoffman, Wave of the Future, $124. Ramirez, $125. Tim Salmon, $100. I mean, there's some good cards in this set. And let's just start working on it. So let me switch cameras here. I'm using what's called eCam for the presentation. And I do not have a whole stage set up for you guys. I don't know if I ever will. I kind of like just kind of getting in front of my computer and doing this. So we're going to open 93 Flair. Just an absolutely gorgeous set. Gotta get the trash can over here nearby. I have no idea if people are watching this broadcast or not. Probably nobody. Leave a comment below. Hit the subscribe button if you're watching this either live or on replay. But this is a new channel for me. Like I said, I've done live videos for years. I've done just videos in general for years. But this is boy, these, yeah. I don't know if that's the original, yeah. You always have to wonder when you're buying old wax, has it been, you know, has somebody rewrapped it and been through it? I've seen these old Flair packs come in this kind of wrapping, and then I've seen some come in a plastic shrink wrap. But let's just get right into it. So, Flair baseball cards. And they come in these 2-piece cardboard boxes. And right off the top, we've got a Greg Swindell. There's going to be a lot of guys that I mispronounce the names. I love baseball, and I love collecting baseball cards, but I am not glued to baseball stats, baseball news. I don't watch ESPN ever. So there's a lot of guys that, you know, I read the cards, and I presume I know how to pronounce them. But some people, I'm sure that I don't. So anyway, we've got the Greg Swindell. And by the way, look at how nice these cards are. Front and back pictures are just beautiful. Glossy. It's got a high gloss. Just absolutely gorgeous cards. Greg Swindell, Tim Wakefield, Lou Whitaker, John Kruk. Who is that? Shane Mack. Shane Mack. It's another thing. It's kind of hard to read the cards. Kevin Ramirez. Felix Jose. Can't even read them. There's the Piazza right off the top. Look at this. So you buy a $50 box delivered, Flair 93. And in the first pack is a Mike Piazza that, if it grades a Gem 10, is a $200 card. Right there. $200 card. Absolutely gorgeous. Followed by a Luis Gonzalez and a Jack Armstrong. Absolutely gorgeous cards. That's not a bad start when we're going to go through an entire box and crack these babies open and see what we get. By the way, leave a comment if there's anybody in here. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know you're in here. I don't expect to have anybody in here today. So who do we have? I can't even see who that is. See, one of the problems with broadcasting live is I really need readers to see these guys. I'm looking at the screen on my computer to actually read these guys. So you're not watching an old man with his glasses cocked in a funny way trying to read the cards. It's easier for me to read them on the screen in front of me. So we've got, who is that? Is that Orlando Merced? Yeah. I've never been fond of sideways cards. Landscape. Walt Weiss. Okay, so some of the checklists in this set, I think there's a Bo Jackson checklist. And that card, I think, if it gems up, is a $100 card. Here we've got Barry Larkin and Piazza. I think, is that Piazza? No, that's not Piazza. That's Palmeiro. Another horizontal card. Carlos Garcia. Another Felix Jose. Wow. Can we have another Mike Piazza? Carlos Martinez. Is it Chad Kruger? Annular Cedeno. Did we have him in the last pack? I think we did. Maybe we didn't. Orestes Estrada and Andre Galarraga. I mean, Hall of Famers. I mean, that's what you're going to get when you get these older sets. You're going to find Hall of Famers. So forgive me if I am going slow. This is the first wax rip video, live video that I've done. And I haven't done a live video in actually a few years, aside from some test videos, which were just to test the equipment. So please forgive me if I'm not as quick as some of my favorite rippers. Like I absolutely love Striker Breaks. Love his channel, love his rips. Goose Gossage, love Goose. Lee Smith, Dave Stewart, Dwight Smith, Ben McDonald, Pat Kelly, Brian Harper, Darren Dalton, Bobby Bonilla, and Moise Alou. Never known how to pronounce his name correctly. If you come into the video or if you're watching it later, thank you for watching. John Wetland, Darren Lewis, Tony Gwynn. That graded up is, I think I said it was a it's a $128 card. And actually these numbers, I looked them up months and months ago, maybe even a year ago. So maybe this is selling for more now, maybe less. But this was about a $128, $130 card. Louis Polonia, Tony Phillips, Lance Johnson, Tim Salmon. There's the Salmon card. You know what? I didn't realize Salmon had a base card and a Wave of the Future rookie card. Rob Dibble, Mark Grace, Hall of Famer, and Jeff Blauser. The Tim Salmon card, maybe I think the Wave of the Future is, if it gems up, is about a $100 card. I don't think his standard issue card, I think that's the same with Piazza too. I think the Piazza card if it gems up, is a $200 card. But if it doesn't gem up, it's if his base card is a less expensive card. The Wave of the Future cards are a little more elite. I don't have the stats on how many you're going to find in a box. Of course, we're going to know how many we found in this box once we're done. All right, Randy Johnson right off the top. Can't even read it. I can't even see it. Vince Coleman. These cards I find very difficult to read. Rene Rocha. I think 94 is even harder to read than these. Dennis Martinez, Kevin Appier, Carlos Borrega, John Doherty. Here we have Pete Harnish, Benito Santiago, and Dave Need. Need. So the reason why I do a quick look of the pack before I start to rip it, I don't always remember to do it, or I remember when I'm about to rip it, is so that if I want to repurpose these videos in any sort of other content, I start with a picture of the pack of the card. Or the picture of the pack before I've opened up and gotten to the cards. All right, so who do we have here? Who is that? Carlos Garcia. Very difficult to read. Kurt Schilling, John Burkett, Bo Jackson. There's another expensive card right out of this box. We're doing quite well. We've got 3 cards that are, in my opinion, like big chase cards. Jeff Russell, Harold Reynolds, Matt Noakes, Darren Dalton, another Bonilla card, and Alucard. Let's get some more Piazzas, some more Bo Jacksons. How about Nolan Ryan? I've opened dozens of these boxes over the last few years, and you can go through a box and not get Rickey Henderson. You can go through a box and not get Nolan Ryan. I think those are the only two cards that I remember being, that you go through the box and not even get them. And multiple boxes even that way. Barry Bonds, Willie McGee, Fred McGriff, Kurt Schilling, Don Mattingly. That's a good card, of course. I'm not setting all the, and I don't even think Don Mattingly's Shane Mack, an expensive card out of this box, maybe $50. Ramirez, I think that's the second one of him we've gotten. Eddie Murray, Jeff Facero, and Pedro Martinez. There's no real rhyme or reason to the cards I'm setting aside. I'm going to go back through these. Of course, I'm hoping to gem some of these up. That's the idea. On a set like on cards like these, I mean, these are so nicely packaged. And I've never had a box. Have you bought a box of vintage wax that the cards are ultra glossy and they stick together, and you can't get them apart? It's terrible. I bought a leaf wax box one time that I was just so excited to get, and it was a studio box, and the entire box, the cards were all stuck together. And I've heard you can put them in the microwave and you can do all these other things, but I've put them in the microwave. You can't put them in the microwave because a lot of the cards have, their gold embossing on them, or there's some metal in the card. But we have a heater. We have like an oven that it's just a heater. Or a warmer. And I've put it, and it can go to 200 degrees. And I've put cards in there for 10 hours before, and they won't come apart. I mean, some of them will, but a lot of them won't come apart. All right, let's see. Who do we have here? Greg Vaughn, Mike Stanley, Mike Powell-Urugo. Oh, there's the first wave of the future, and we've got Manny Ramirez. That's a gorgeous card. That's a $100 card at least. If you can gem it up, that's a $100 card. Greg Swindell, he was the first card of the box. Ozzie Smith. I knew that was Ozzie when I saw a guy in the air there. Matt Williams, Will Cadero, Oral Hershiser, and Craig Biggio. If you are in here during a live, which I don't think anybody's in here, I think I would know somehow if anybody was in here, but feel free to leave a message, leave a comment, share the video, give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. It would be nice to broadcast to somebody and not nobody. But I don't actually expect anybody to come into this live video. I expect the live video to live on and be found. And people subscribe. They join up. They watch for future videos. Jeff Montgomery, Kurt Manwaring, Gene Harris, John Schmoltz. Put an H in there, didn't I? Carlos Martinez, Chad Kruger. Who is that? Roberto Hernandez. Chris Jones. Can't even read these. Jose Rio and Ryan Sandberg. I hope Ryan's doing well. He's been sick over the last at least maybe year, maybe longer. Love Ryan Sandberg. All right, we're starting out with a Palmeiro checklist. We've already gotten one of those. Royce Clayton, Derek Bell, Roberto Kelly, Jose Mesa, Scott Livingston, Stone, another Bo Jackson. Look at that. Second Bo Jackson in this box. We're not even halfway through the box yet. Love it. Who do we have? Orestes Destrada. Can't read it. Another Galarraga. And a Kevin Mitchell. I mean, if you're looking for cards to gem up, investment, you want to make a little money, try to make a little money. You know, there's so many people on the internet that say that you can't make money buying and grading baseball cards and flipping them, and I think that's nonsense. I think people that don't know what they're doing can't make money. I think people who give up too soon to learn how to do it right can't make money. And there's going to be more people in those camps than people who actually make money. Kurt Manwaring, Gene Harris, Jeff King, Greg Olson, Jack McDowell, Scott Sanderson, Mo Vaughn, Greg Hibbard, Ron Gant, Mariano Duncan. And, you know, whenever there's a group of people who say you can't do something, that means you can. That's what I believe. Oh, that ain't gonna work. No, that's a bunch of crap. It can work. You just gotta know what you're doing. You gotta have the patience to figure it out. You have to have the willingness to figure it out. You have to get scientific with it if you're gonna win. If you think you're just gonna wing it and it's just gonna naturally just work, it isn't. I think we have another Piazza in here. No, that's not Piazza. Or is it? We'll find out in a minute. I'm trying to... Kevin Brown. Rich Amaral. Mike Bordick. I can't even read these cards. Some of these guys I haven't thought about in years. Shane Mack. I think we've already found one of him. JT Snow. Good card. Can you even read that, guys? Oh, that's a Frank Viola. You know, I'm not looking at the pictures. I'm looking at the text. And I can't, Rick Sutcliffe, I can't, you know, and I'm not looking at both. There's a Glavine, Lenny Dykstra, and Todd Hundley. I'm not looking at the pictures. I'm looking at the text because the text is conclusive. I don't want to guess at it by looking at the picture. You know, I know some guys, you know, if I've seen the card 100 times, I'm going to know who it is immediately. I'm not always going to know who it is immediately just looking at the picture. And I am trying to be fairly quick with this. Orlando Merced, Walt Weiss, Rafael Palmeiro checklist, and that's the third one of those. Nigel Wilson, that's a Wave of the Future. That's not a big help right there. We'll set him aside, though. Waves of the Future, they're fun cards. Now, this card's clearly off center. Look how low that text is. Brian Harper, John Jaha, David Cohn, Pedro Martinez, another one. It's two of him. Cedeno and Destrada, I think it is. I can't read it very well. These cards, I think, are tricky to grade because of the centering. You don't have clear borders. You don't have even borders. It's just picture and edge. And you've got the nameplate and the where the brand name is. You know, Flair up here at the top. And it's on some cards it's on the right, some cards it's on the left. Dave Winfield. There's a checklist that we haven't gotten yet. Who is that? I can't even tell. Alomar on the back. Mike Jackson, another Wave of the Future. Russ Davis. Jose Mesa. Scott Livingstone. That's our third Bo Jackson in this box. 3 Bo Jacksons. Now, we'll talk about that in a minute. Dante Bichette, Tim Belcher, Steve Buechele, played for the Rangers. I don't really remember that guy. I can't remember who else he played for. Let's find the Bo Jacksons. I've got 3 of them in this box so far. All right. Now, if you look at the top, all 3 of the Flair logo, it's in the same exact place. Look at that. I mean, these cards look very centered. I'll have to look at them better, but look at the bottom. Look where the N hits the foot. Look where the N hits the foot. Okay, there's a good chance these cards are all very well centered. So provided there's no scratches. Now, in these Flair cards, scratches are common, surface scratches. You've really got to go through them and look at them. But, you know, on the surface, these all look, you know, even on the back. Now, there's something, I'll have to look at that later, but I see that in the picture of my screen. It looks like it's on that card, too. You know, I'll have to evaluate the back. It looks like there's a print dot or something right there. That's actually something that's going to come off. But these cards look great. I mean, if these would gem up, okay, let's say I pay $25 a card. So I got $75 in these 3 cards. And I've got, let's just be fair and say this box was $75 with tax and shipping and everything. So I got $150 in this box. If these things will gem up, 200, 200, 200. So this is a $450 box just off these 3 cards. Okay, now will these 3 gem up? I don't know. But I mean, we've got a small stack here of cards that I've pulled, and there's some in here that I didn't pull, but we got the Manny Ramirez. I mean, this is a great box. I mean, dollar for dollar, this isn't, and we've got, you know, not quite half a box left, but pretty close to half a box. And we're just now, I mean, this has been a fantastic rip. Lots of good cards in this box. You know, I love collecting cards. I love having cards, but I like having nice cards. If they don't have the possibility of gemming up, I don't even want them. I don't even want them in my collection. I want cards that are either gemmed up or can be gemmed up. Robin Ventura, another checklist. Is that the rear side of the checklist? It feels like it. No, because there's the number on the back. So I don't think we've had that checklist yet. Tom Pagnozzi, Another Wave of the Future. I can't even read it without removing my... Russ Davis. Chad Kruger, I think we've already gotten him. Roberto Hernandez. Mark Langston. Very difficult to read these cards. Alex Arias. Dante Bichette. I think we just got him a minute ago. Tim Belcher. I think we just got was it Arias? I think we just got his card a minute ago. I don't think I've been blessed with a visitor yet on this live video, but that's okay. Live video number 1, and that it's a 1993 Flair. I'm very happy. I love these. I just love ripping Flair. Jim Wakefield, Lou Whitaker, Jeff Montgomery, Don Mattingly, another Mattingly. We've got 2 of Mattingly's. I think there's a rule in collecting and grading cards that almost every Mattingly card you ever see is going to be off-center. Just by enough. Mike McFarland, Paul Sereno, Mickey Tettleton. Just enough to make it something you can't send in. Chuck Carr, Gerald Clark, and Roberto Kelly. And again, for those of you watching, I try to make my videos quick, and I try to get through it as quick as I can and keep you moving. I apologize that some of these cards are just so hard to read. If I'm stumbling on them, just because they're difficult to read. It really is. All right. Andy Beans, Bennis, Steve Cook, Bernie Williams, John Burkett, Louis Polonia, Billy Hatcher, Greg Olson, Steve Avery, Tommy Green, 2 Tommy Greens in a row. Why can't that be Bo Jackson? It's never the card you want it to be when you get multiples. I don't like when cards flip around like that. It might end up bumping a whole side of a whole corner on a card, on a deck of cards. Bill Swift, Phil Plantier, Don Slott, John Yaha, David McCarty, Bill Spires, Wally Joyner, Brett Butler, Eric Anthony, and Alex Arias. I think I've gotten 3 of him so far. Vince Coleman, Rene Arocha, Roberto Alomar, Cecil Fielder, Wilson Alvarez, Chad Curtis, Roger Clemens, first one of those in the box, Joe Girardi, Hal Morris, and Mike Morgan. Is it Morgan or Morton? Morgan. Start off with Robbie Thompson, Darryl Kyle, Andy Van Slyke, Sammy Sosa, first one of those, Jim Leyritz, Graham Floyd. Is that an Oren? Ken Hill, Roger McDonald, and God, I can't even read it, Steve Finley. You know, if I was more familiar with this set, I'd be able to look at every card without looking at the name and know who it was, but I haven't played with this set, looked at it, handled one in probably a year. I'll do some videos in the future here about grading them. We'll start with those 3 Bo Jacksons. It's nice that we got 3 of them. Paul Molitor, Stan Belinda, Eric Hansen, Todd Hundley, Greg Harris, Mike Mussina. That's the first Mussina we've gotten. Put him aside. Jim Leyritz, Steve Buscemi, Steve Avery, and Terry Mulholland. I know somebody named Terry Mulholland, not the player. Mitch Williams, Will Clark. That's the first Will Clark we've gotten here. Robbie Thompson, Billy Hatcher. This is a repeat of a pack we just got, I think. Cal Ripken Jr. Set him aside. Love Cal Ripken. Paul O'Neill, Pedro Munoz, Dwight Gooden. Love Dwight. Greg Colburn and Jim Gott. 2 packs left. Will we get a 4th Bo Jackson is what I'm wondering. Will we get a Rickey Henderson or a Nolan Ryan? We haven't gotten either one of those guys. We've gotten 1 Tony Gwynn. We haven't gotten a Trevor Hoffman or a who was the, I forget who else was in the Wave of the Future that we didn't get. We didn't get a Salmon, did we? Annie Van Slyke, this is a repeat. Kyle Van Slyke. Who is it? David Wells. Oh, there's a Wave of the Future. Jason, is it Bene, Barre? I don't even know who that is. We'll set him aside. It's a Wave of the Future. They're always fun. BJ Surhoff, Jose Lynn, Eric Plunk, Bagwell. I love Bagwell. Ooh, I don't want these cards touching that box. Brett Saberhagen and Willie Blair. One pack left, folks. One pack left to get a Nolan Ryan, a Rickey Henderson, or what do we want? I want a Hoffman Wave of the Future. I'd love a Hoffman Wave of the Future. I think that was a $200 card gemmed up. Mitch Williams, Jeff King, Will Clark. I think we just had this pack. Oh, wait a minute. No, I thought it was going to be Darryl Whitmore, Wave of the Future. I thought we were getting that Hoffman. Oh, well. This has been a beautiful box. I can't complain. Mark Langston, Greg Harris, another Messina, Terry Pendleton, Pete and Brett Saberhagen. All right, folks. That's it. Let's go through and see what it is that really shine in this box. I know we got two Messinas. We got a few Wave of the Futures. Got a Will Clark, a Bagwell, Cal Ripken. There's another Clark, another Messina, Don Mattingly, Bo Jackson. We got three Jacksons. Pedro Martinez, Ryan Sandberg, Ozzie Smith, Manny. That's a $100, $125 card at least. Pedro Martinez, another Mattingly. This is a great box. Tony Gwynn and a Piazza. This was an absolutely fantastic box. And if we're going into the grading territory, I don't know how clear that is, but I mean, look at these edges. I mean, when these cards are packaged the way these cards are packaged, you're not getting a bunch of ruined cards like you would be with other brands where, you know, there's something going on right there. It looks like something, it could be nothing. But I mean, these are absolutely gorgeous cards through and through. And I mean, when it's a $50, $60 box, maybe $70 delivered, and you've got potentially, you know, $2,000 worth of cards here if all these were to gem up. Now, that's, you know, all of them gem up. But what if it's a $200 box? What if it's a $200 or $150 box? You know, worth your time? Not worth your time? I don't know. I think this is a fantastic box. And one of my favorite players of all time, of course, is Bo Jackson. Getting three of them in one box, absolutely fabulous. All right, folks, that about does it. Todd at TeeBeeCards. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I don't think there was anybody live. I didn't see any comments come through, so I don't know if anybody came in, came out, were a part of it. And then, you know, if you watch this in replay, you know, leave a comment down below, hit the subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified of future videos. I will be doing more of these. And of course, I'll get more polished at doing them. And, you know, when I'm not doing cards that are so hard to read, it'll go much quicker. But I thank you for tuning in and watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, be safe.